recession for that. Something. What we're here for is to learn how to use this beautiful technology. And AI is a very beautiful technology. And it will take us small businesses, places that so for some of us, places we never imagined we could get to. At the same time, like they say, with great power comes great responsibilities. We want to make sure that as we're leveraging this beautiful tool, or this beautiful technology, we're also aware of what can go wrong to make sure that we put things in place to make sure that those things don't go wrong and we can continue to scale our business. Let's see go. And before we get started, a quick question for everyone. Is there anyone here who doesn't use AI today?
You can type it in the chat or
Yes.
raise a virtual hand, whatever works for you.
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, Stephen. Good to have you here. Checking the chat and okay, so
Stephen
there's
is
no
giving
one.
a celebration. I think it's fair to say probably everyone uses AI to some
Yes, and
degree.
I would have been surprised if someone said, I don't use AI. You- Oh, yes, Mashi, thank you. You're probably using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. At the minimum, you're using one of those, or Copilot, right? Some of us, myself, my company included, we use AI to record our meetings. And even if you don't have like an external tool, Zoom and all of this, they have AI tools recording meetings today, take transcribing and all of that. So then the other place, marketing, a lot of if you're not using it personally, you can bet that your marketing team, if you have one, they're using it. Mashid is using Codex. That's good. So the worst thing is not to be sure if your team is using it or not, which we'll get to in a moment. So no matter what you do today, you're using AI. Even simple Google search now. If you do a Google search, it would bring an AI summary for you. So whether you like it or not, you're using AI. And AI is already in your business, no matter how small it is. It is there. So if you don't acknowledge it now, you're living in denial. In fact, AI is making decisions for us already in our businesses. For a lot of us now, AI determines, and how many of us have not gone on ChatGPT or Gemini to ask, who would need this product? Or I'm building this product, who should I target? Who hasn't done that? Especially if you're about to go to the market, or even you're in the market and you're like, okay, I want to target a different niche, a different ICP. Most of us, probably 99.9% of us do that. So AI is determining what customers to target today, what to sell to them, how to sell to them, even on what platform. They're making these decisions on our behalf, they're analyzing data at a speed we've never seen before. In fact, for me personally, I don't send emails without checking it with AI. Can you refine it? Can you make it read better? I sent emails before AI. For whatever reason, I can't send an email without AI today, as long as it doesn't include sensitive information. So yeah, exactly. So AI sometimes you'd even copy an email and put it on whatever AI you're using right now and say, what's the perfect response? So AI even determines the response to send to your customers or your partners. Fortunately or unfortunately, with all of these decisions that AI is making on our behalf, guess who's accountable for it ultimately? Us, you, myself, every single one of us. We are responsible because AI isn't human. Just like a company, you need a body behind the entity. The same thing, AI needs a body behind it before it can function. So that body behind it will be ultimately responsible. And as the owner of a business, it doesn't matter what your employees do, you are ultimately accountable for the things they use AI for in your company, which is why we're having this conversation today. Before we go further, I just want to quickly introduce myself again. And I know Janice did a good job of it and why I'm passionate about small businesses. Like she did mention, I grew up within a small business. My life, my education, my earlier opportunities came from within a small family business. In fact, I ran that business for a few years before I moved and then went to do bigger things with bigger companies. And what I realized in that time working with bigger companies that especially in technology risks can actually become a whole lot of problem for these companies, these big companies. It can cost them millions, even it can shut them down. We've seen cases where security related risks shut businesses down. Now, these businesses, the difference between them and small businesses, and why I'm passionate about small business, is the fact that they can shut down or declare bankruptcy, but the owners will still be fine. They will still remain rich. They can float a different business and they will be fine. With a small business, it's so different. Anything going wrong with a small business, there's, but of course, the financial implication is there. The shutting down the business is a possibility, especially if we're talking about a lot of loss. That could impact the trajectory of a whole family, of a whole generation. I lived that life and I know how bad things can get within a small business if a simple thing goes wrong, if not caught on time. That's why I'm more passionate about small businesses now and why I would be on sessions like this and forgive me if I get passionate and talk about it and say, you have to see, you have to know what can go wrong in your business so you can cater to that early on. So I just thought to talk about that so you know why I'm doing this. And and some people would ask me, you've worked with Fortune 500 companies, some of the biggest. Why are you targeted? Why are you working with smaller businesses now? That's why. Yeah, you may not have all the money that those ones have, but you have bigger problems than they do because it would impact you in a different way than those ones. Now, on this session today, what you walk away with is you would know exactly where AI creates real business value for you as a business. And if you're not considering AI in that light yet, it's something you can start looking at. What real risk can come? And these are some of the common ones that we don't pay attention to. And the common mistakes we make as businesses when we're adopting AI. We'll look at that as well. And then we'll look at what we are responsible for as a business or as business owners or as individuals, and how to use AI safely within your environment without slowing down your growth. Because that's the key thing. There's no point if you're not growing, there's no point doing anything, right? Ultimately, you will want to make money. So, and to get us started, you need to know that AI isn't the problem. If anything, AI is probably the best thing that's happened to us in recent times since COVID. In my opinion, it is a beautiful thing. AI will make two people businesses grow, and if a one person business can become a multi-million dollar business within a month with AI. We also what happened with ChatGPT on the launch day. What happened? The whole world accepted it. They never thought it would happen. That's what AI can do to businesses. We're seeing small businesses, open claw. We all heard about it. No one knew they didn't have anything behind them until the news broke. AI can make small businesses look bigger than they actually are. And it can help them make more money than if they ever thought possible. Because they can reach more markets, they can compete at a similar level as bigger organizations. But we have to also know that the fact that they're growing so fast and AI is helping them grow so fast, we have to also understand that they do not have the same structure as the bigger organizations. And they may not be able to handle the risks that come with growth as much as the big organizations can. So what we will start to see, and we're starting to see, is companies becoming victims of their own success as a result of AI. And I don't want your company to be one of those. Right. So to start with, and let's start on a good note. Beautiful news, because this is a beautiful tool we're talking about. It's not all doom and gloom. Your marketing. One thing AI can do for you, even if your product is not AI focused, if it's a different service, a different product, whatever you're doing, your marketing, AI can take it to another level. You can compete, you can spend very little money on marketing and reach more people, more market faster than ever before. You don't even have to run ads. On LinkedIn today, you can send 2,000 connection requests with AI. You can code email 1,000 people. You can do so much more with AI today. Now, you don't even have to think about what content should I produce. 95 to 99% of content we see out there today were generated by AI. Some don't even think at all. AI just generates content and they put it out there. Some people like myself, I'll put my story behind it and then AI will fine tune it and then I put it out there. Some don't even do that. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's working for them. So AI can make your marketing go to any level today. Same with customer support. Companies don't spend millions of dollars on call centers anymore. Companies are moving more towards AI driven customer support and lead support because in fact, I have someone in my a founder in my network who actually just created a lead contact AI. What that does is because if your customers go to your website, they fill your form, and you don't get back to them on time, they're probably reaching out to other your competitors. This tool would take that contact information and call your prospect within 3 minutes. Call your prospect, triage them, get them on a call with you. That's how beautiful AI is right now. Now, if some of you in the audience, if you know Alex Omozi is a multi-million dollar founder. He has established different businesses. He did over $100 million in 24 hours launching a book last year. And I watched his video on Sunday, and he said a large part of that success is attributed to the AI customer support they built before the launch day. A lot of customers had questions before the day. He could have spent millions of dollars paying maybe an offshore customer center somewhere, but no, that's not what they did. They built an AI customer support center. And a lot of the questions got answered immediately. He said a large part of that $100 million in 24 hours, it would attribute it to AI. That's how beautiful. You know what I said about AI can make multi-million dollar businesses in a matter of days or a month. That's what I mean. Now, even for your productivity, there's so many manual, mundane tasks that we perform as business owners that we don't like, we don't enjoy. With AI, you can just automate most of those. And you would have 20, 30 minutes of your day back. And you can focus on the strategic things that would actually scale your business. And when it comes to analyzing data as well, that's also something else. It brings the right data to you as fast as possible. And you can look at how am I doing? I'm spending money on ads. How is that going? How many people are booking? Is our ads actually converting, or we're getting more people from referrals, or where should we be putting more money to make more money? Right. AI can help you do that as fast as possible today. And it's beautiful. And these are some of the things that I can come up with. I'm sure there are so many other things you are thinking of, and you can put it in the chat. These are things I haven't touched on. But what I'm doing here is just to let you see how beautiful this new technology is. And I'm emphasizing the fact that it is a technology. It's not something artificial, something we haven't seen before. It is still another technology. It is beautiful. It is the most beautiful thing today. Now, this is where it gets risky for companies, for businesses, because it does so much for us and we rely on it so much today. We tend to forget that it is just another technology. And if you understand how computers work, you would understand it is the data you feed it, it processes, and it gives you output with the data, right? It is the same way for AI. It's not different. And I like to call AI the nosy neighbor. Anything you don't want out there, anything you don't want the world to know about you or your business, do not put it on AI. If you do, you don't have control over what happens to it at that point, no matter how hard you try. Because as much as we don't want to admit it, AI is still a bit of a black box in terms of how the models work. So if you're putting sensitive data, your customer data on AI today, it can bring a lot of trouble for you eventually. So we don't want to do that. In fact, as a company, we take sales calls. We use AI to take notes on our sales calls. What we do, and we'll get to that as well, what we do is when it gets to the point where, okay, a prospect wants to convert into a customer, we will kick out the AI note taker, every instance of it, be it Zoom, Fathom, whatever, we'll kick them out. Why do we do that? To make sure that they do not capture our client's payment card information. Because once it gets into that note taker, we don't have control anymore. And a whole lot of things can go wrong because AI would train on that data, can even produce it to someone else. If the right people gives it the right prompt, they will get all of that sensitive data off it if they want to. So that's why we do that. So do not put sensitive data on AI. It can bring a whole lot of trouble for you. The other part is relying on AI generated decisions. AI shouldn't be making decisions for you. I see companies using AI to triage customers, to disqualify prospects. You might be losing money. We're not even talking about technical risk here. We're talking about risk to your growth as a company. You might be losing money. In fact, we've seen situations because there's a part of our business where we have to work with certain people. And we've seen people even come into our calls and say, why are you discriminating against certain backgrounds? And we would have to go through the trouble of explaining. If you find yourself in that situation and AI auto disqualifies a person, we can to take you to court without hearing from you. And we've seen that with Workday, where a person that felt like we didn't get a job because AI kept weeding them out. They sued Workday and they won in court. Remember what I said, you're ultimately accountable for the decisions AI make on your behalf. So do not let AI make decisions for you. They can give you the insights and you can make an informed decision based on that, but do not let AI make decisions for you. Because we trust AI so much, we do not bother to review the things they give to us. AI helps you generate an email to send to a client or a proposal to send to a client, and you did not review it because you're like, nah, it's AI, I gave it all the information. AI does hallucinate. AI will give you the wrong information with so much confidence that you will believe it. AI does hallucinate. So make sure you're reviewing and you're overseeing outputs from AI before they make it to the world. For us as a business, there's a tool we use, so there's a security monitoring and compliance monitoring tool we use for our clients. Because we use it based on certain frameworks and AI, it's AI driven. And we have a AI model card and transparency card for any client that wants to see. But for every output that comes from it, before it gets to our client, it goes through human review. We would review it first. And then once we realize, okay, it actually matches the current framework because AI can take information from previous framework that doesn't apply anymore and make it available to your client. We know that. And we'll make sure that we review it and make sure that it aligns and the recommendation is correct. We approve it before our client sees it. So our client can trust that whatever information is coming from our AI is correct because we have reviewed it. And that can put you in a whole lot of, and we'll get to that as well. So now, for me, this is critical. There are some companies that are still living in denial. They believe they're not using AI. Well, we know now that we use AI whether we like it or not. So if your team is using AI and you're not aware of what they're using it for, why they're using it, and they don't have any guidance on what to use it for and what not to use it for, you might already be in trouble. I hope not. Because they will put information, again, they don't mean any harm. They just want to do their job well. They come to work every day. They want to do the best they can for you so you can continue to grow as a business. But without the right guidance, they will put information that they're not supposed to put on AI. They will put it on there. They will use AI for things you haven't asked them to use it for because you haven't given them any guidance whatsoever. So this is where AI gets risky for people. So you have to know exactly where to use AI, how to use it, when to use it, what to use it for, and how does it benefit you. Now, this is what it looks like. And I will use a common case, and I hope some of you have seen it, the Deloitte. And this happened to Deloitte. Now, it happened to Deloitte. Deloitte will survive it. They will survive it because they're big enough. They will be fine. If the same thing happens to a smaller organization, it could be the end of that company, financially and even customer trust wise. What happened? And this happened in Deloitte, Australia and Canada. Actually, and I did work with Deloitte Canada. They did a they did a report for the Australian government. When the report got back to the Australian government, they realized that there was some untruth in the report. They flagged it and they accused them of using AI. And they did admit that they did use AI for the report and it wasn't reviewed. So the CEO didn't do that, remember? Probably some of the employees, and because they've been allowed to use AI within the company, they kept using it. They used AI, they uploaded client data on AI, AI processed it, gave them the report, and then the issue came. The Australian government sued Deloitte, and that project was what 440 Australian dollars, 440,000 Australian dollars. They had to pay, of course, they admitted and then they were found guilty. They had to pay about 290,000 back, part payment back to the government. Now, there's an open case in Canada as we speak, still Deloitte. Very similar. AI driven report hallucinated, even misquoted a judge in the report. They didn't pick it because it wasn't reviewed. That project is worth $1.6 million Canadian dollars. It's still ongoing. We don't know if they'll be found guilty or not. But if they're found guilty, it could be a similar verdict as Australia, or even they have to do a full refund. Now, this is Deloitte. That's probably not a lot of money to them. I know it's not a lot of money to them. They will be fine. They will still get more government clients, more government deals. If there were to be a smaller organization, a client that's paying 1.6 million sounds like a big client. If trouble comes from that client, you're probably losing your business as a small business. That's why it is more critical for us as small businesses to take this seriously. But you don't even need to spend a lot of money to do that. So remember, I will keep emphasizing this. You are responsible for the outcome generated by AI, not the tool. It is you, ultimately. Now, these are some of the mistakes we make as businesses when we're adopting AI. We don't have any policy around where, and how AI should be used in our company. How do you do that? Make sure you understand the data around your environment. How does AI benefit you? Where does it not benefit you? That would form the guide around, okay, who should use it, what should we use it, or when should we use it? That would form the basis for your policy. And there are templates around that you can use and adapt to your environment. The other thing is because it's technology, we assume that it is inherently safe or secure. It is not. Remember that I can sit down over here and in the next 30 minutes build an app that solves a problem for you. And I don't have to be technical. It is called vibe coding for those that do not know. You can vibe code your way to building a whole product in a matter of minutes or hours. And they can start selling it. If it solves the problem for a lot of people and a lot of people buying it, that product can become a multi-million dollar product in a matter of days or months. Now, if that happens, and because a lot of people are now using that tool, you don't do your due diligence to check the security of this tool. And if you can't do it, there are consultants that can help you. We do that as well. You can find yourself in trouble because in fact, I was having a demo with an ERP company from the UAE yesterday. Very beautiful tool. It's specifically for SMBs, for small and medium-sized businesses. And we were looking at it and I started asking some questions. Okay, I see this is beautiful and all of that. So is it encrypted? So, oh yes, we have HTTPS. And it's okay, but in storage, how do you encrypt that? Okay, I'm not too sure about that one. Okay. All about the role-based, can someone in finance see what's happening in HR? Yeah, right now they can. Oh, that's interesting. So I asked a few basic questions that bigger organizations would ask when they're adopting tools like this, that most small businesses wouldn't even bother asking because we don't feel like we would get the answers, or we assume that they must have thought of those things. We don't have to worry about it. Those basic questions they couldn't answer. But if we was a demo for company that says, oh, we need this tool because it does everything, we can get rid of a lot of our other tools and focus on using this one. But that one tool can put you in a whole lot of trouble because they haven't thought of the security. So these tools you're looking at, anyone can build in a matter of days or minutes. They're not inherently safe. And it's even worse with AI because too many things can go wrong. The other one, remember the nosy neighbor? If you don't have data boundaries for your AI, which would be part of your AI policy, AI usage policy. If you don't have data boundaries for your AI, you will put a lot of things that you're not supposed to. If you don't do it, your employees will do it. Like people around your company will do it for you. But you are ultimately accountable for that. Also need to have a review process because models degrade. So the model performance can become degraded over time. It might be working perfectly today, and by tomorrow it starts to give you wrong information, wrong output. If you're not reviewing that, you wouldn't know. And it will just keep producing information for you, for your customers. And at a point, someone will pick it and say, what's going on here? Or you would have provided information that misled someone else. So again, I don't want to use healthcare because that's more critical. So we don't want to use it can be legal, give wrong legal advice, and then someone actions that they get in trouble, they're coming for you. Right. So you must have a review process as well. AI hallucinates. It gives you wrong information with confidence. It hallucinates a lot. So if you're not reviewing outcome from AI, and I'll still use us as an example, in our compliance monitoring tool, every output from AI we review before it is approved. The reason is we know that AI can provide wrong information. So make sure you have a simple process, and it doesn't have to be technical, a simple process in place to review output from your AI, especially when it is critical to your business or critical decisions that are about to be made. Make sure it is you in that decision, not the AI, even though AI has helped you get to that point. So that when they ask, you can defend. And you shouldn't also assume that AI solves every problem for you. It doesn't. You will strategically position yourself to solve problems. I've seen companies now because these tools are easy to buy or easy to make. They're just they're just making all sorts of tools or buying all sorts of tools. What would happen when you just acquire a lot of tools is that you will lose control because you wouldn't know which one does what. You will lose control of that environment. And the more tools you buy, the more exposed your environment becomes, no matter how small you are. Because every vendor or every tool that touches your environment is an exposure point for you. So if you just, oh, this is a beautiful tool, I added, that's going to help me with my marketing. You add it, and then you now have 5 different marketing tools, and then you have 3 different CRMs. That means you, as small as you are, no matter how much you're making, you already have like 8 exposure points that you don't have control over. So AI doesn't solve every problem, and not every tool out there is worth buying. So watch it. Now, what should we be doing? How do we do this safely? Define clearly what can be used, what data can go into your AI, and what shouldn't go into your AI. And you have to communicate that to the right people, to those that care to listen. What data can be used on AI, what data should not be used by AI. And you want to introduce simple review steps. We talked about review before. Just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. If this comes, just a simple workflow. If an output comes, if you come to me, come to this person, they look at it and then they approve it, and it's gone, it's done. It can be as simple as that, nothing complicated, because it shouldn't stop you from doing business. Now, with the review steps, the data that should and shouldn't make it into AI, your team, if they're not aware of it, they will not know, and they'll still keep doing what they're doing, and they have your best interest as that they want to give you the best. If they are trained, the training can be something as simple as what we're having right now. A training can be maybe in your weekly meetings, have a 5 minute AI session, AI awareness session. Just a reminder, we don't do this, we don't do that. This is what we should be doing. That helps because your employees love you and they love your business. They wouldn't intentionally want to put you in trouble. Right. Make sure that you ask the basic security questions. If you can't and you don't know what to look for, have a tech advisory company or team on your side. You don't need a security team. You're probably too small for that right now. But have a tech advisory team on your side that can help you do that. They'll ask the basic questions. They'll ask for evidence, proof that because companies make things up. Oh, we have this, we have that. And again, because they are also small like you, they probably don't have the SOC tools and ISO 27001 that the enterprise would ask for and other things. But they would at least they should be able to show the simple things that they have put in place to protect you. So now, if you're doing that, that will lead you to not just adopting every tool that comes around. You will start small and then you will scale with control because you will have a full inventory of the AI tools in your environment and you'll be able to defend every single one of them. It may not be you as a person, it could be the people within your environment, but you must have someone or set of people that are looking out for you. Because if AI is all over your environment and you don't know how they work, what they do, you are really slipping on, I want to say, a time bomb. Because it's just a matter of time. What we would see And we're ready. Uh, because yes, you will, Mashida, and I will answer that question in a minute. Sorry. So I don't want to break them so that we can get to questions. I'll answer that question. So now, what that does for you as a company, as I was explaining, and this is what it does for us as a company as well. It helps us build trust fast because we can, and maybe this will answer your question as well, Mashid. It helps us show our clients that we have thought of what can go wrong and we have catered for it. They'll trust us better. They can share more data with us. They know that whatever they put in our environment, to the best of our abilities, is safe. So because we're an exposure point for them, but we have catered to our side, and they will feel protected that way. And that can also be basis to win better clients. That's to your question, Mashid. It would help you win more clients if you show them clearly that you have thought of the security, you have put things in the right place, and you're continuously monitoring for that on your tool. And then that would also make sure that you're avoiding costly mistakes for your business. And you will not fall into the kind of trouble that Deloitte is in. But Deloitte will be fine. I'm still saying that. They will be fine ultimately. So you can scale confidently. You can sleep at night knowing that you've done your best. And if something then goes wrong, because it does happen at times, you can show the things you've put in place to make sure that those things don't go wrong. And you will, even if you lose your business, you will not be losing yourself. But we don't even want you to lose your business because hopefully you're too small and they won't come for you and all that. But things do go wrong. And you just want to make sure that even if and when something goes wrong, you have covered your own side of it and you will not be in trouble. Right. Going back to the reality of it, AI doesn't replace your decision making. It helps you make it faster and better, but you have to ultimately accountable. So take if there's something you're taking away from today's session, is that you're ultimately accountable for decisions you make. Now, what do you do now? When you get back to your company, or maybe you're just on lunch break and you're getting back to what you're doing, you have to review how AI is currently used in your environment. Whether you're building a product that's using AI, whether you're using it for other parts of your business, you're not an AI-driven business, but you're using it to enhance your business. Review how AI is currently used in your environment, identify benefits of it, and what can go wrong with it as a result of it, because you want to make sure. Now, when you find these risks, because there will most likely be risks, put simple controls in place, nothing complicated. I'm not saying go and buy the big tools that the enterprise are using. Simple controls like awareness, like we talked about before. Simple awareness, simple access control, simple reminders, email reminders in meetings will do you a world of good. Having a simple workflow for approval will do you a world of good because the world is evolving so fast. You can't sleep and say, oh, now we're good. You have to continuously learn your environment and adapt accordingly. Because if your business is growing, your risk will also grow. You're acquiring new clients, your risk exposure, you're probably buying new tools, your risk exposure will keep growing. You have to continuously learn and adapt your controls as you scale. Now, it's time for questions. I saw a question in the chat, so we'll start from there. Where is it now? Oh yeah, Mashid, yes, because you're building an AI tool. I don't know if you're selling to enterprise or to other small businesses, but yes, you do need to consider security practices in the tool you're building because, okay, I think you answered, right? Small business, yes. Most of them may not be aware enough to ask you those questions, but you think of it that they're trusting you with something, with the data, and you deserve to protect them, or they deserve that protection from you. So yes, I would. And yes, you can unmute and ask a question. You have no customer now. Yes, you want to be prepared for the customers. And I don't know if you're working with Admitting Unlimited. If you are, expert on demand might be something you want to explore in terms of reviewing the security practices within your current tool and all of that. So yeah, or even IRAP does that. I know at least two founders using IRAP right now to review the security within their product. So those are again, and I don't know. I know Janice probably have more things to say on how to do that for founders that do not have customers right now. So I'll probably defer to her.
Yeah, for now, I'll put the links in the chat to those two resources that you mentioned, because those are both the places that I would also refer to. And then if people have
Absolutely.
questions, just let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you. So yes, you don't have customers, you're not currently making money. I wouldn't recommend spending your own 10,000, 20,000 to do security review and all of that. So use those resources that will be more than helpful. Okay. Questions? Or if you have any concerns on the use of AI in your environment, anything.
Yeah, I think I have a question actually. So the way that the ERIN is structured, and I think a lot of businesses would also potentially structure this way, especially at early stage, is we're contractors. So we're not actually employees. And a lot of early stage businesses would bring in, say, some students. They get something with my tax, and they bring in some students to do some work for them, or they bring in someone through experts on demand. And so, um, you know, other than having policies in place, like, is there anything that people can do to ensure that if it's just like a temporary partnership or someone coming in that's going to be leaving, like to ensure that the things that that person is doing don't compromise your
Yeah,
business?
there are a number of things, and I'll be careful with this response because some of these things require spending money. So one thing could be that you make sure that they work in your environment and they safely come into your environment where you put some technical controls in place in terms of what data they can and cannot share with the AI tools you have in place. But the first thing you have to do is get them to sign off on your policy. Let them sign on it, agree to the fact that this is what we use it for, this is what we don't do. So if they sign on that and they end up doing what they shouldn't do, then you can chase them down on what they have. Again, they've signed off, they understand your policy, what you allow and what you don't allow. And if they still end up doing it, you can be in trouble for that. So that would be the least expensive option. And then if you want to also restrict their access to only what they've been brought in to do as well. If they don't need AI for their work, they don't have any business using AI for you. So that would be the other thing. Restrict their access as much as possible. But the biggest part, the simplest and the least expensive would be get them to sign as part of their contract to sign on your policy, an agreement that they understand your policy. And then the reminders as well. Make sure you're reminding them of their responsibility as they work with you.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think Mashid put something in the
Okay.
chat there
Sorry,
again.
my concern is that if I actually can share my source code with others. Okay. It is not impossible. And the question, are you sharing? Okay, let me know how you're building your product. You can unmute. That's okay. You can unmute and talk. Are you able to unmute and talk? So yes, AI can, if it's on AI can share anything with anybody. With bigger organizations, they have that leverage to how do I put it, to segment how AI is used, excuse me, to control how AI is used in their environment by reaching agreements with service providers to say, I want my own environment. My data shouldn't be shared beyond my environment, beyond my network, and it shouldn't be used to train AI. That's the other thing. AI will train itself on your data. So bigger organizations are able to sign that agreement with service providers. Smaller companies like yourself, like myself, we're not able to do that. So the best thing is to, whatever you don't want AI to share with others, or you don't want AI to train on, don't put it there. That would be my best advice. You can put your code on GitHub, do other things, but don't put it directly on AI. Don't store it there. Especially even if you're putting it there because you don't have a choice, make sure that you're not sharing secrets. secrets like API keys, things like that, make sure they're not in your source code because it would pick it and it would share it. It doesn't have boundaries like that, remember. Okay, any other question? And let me know if you have any other question, Mashid.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, yeah, actually, I am building all of the coding and everything right now using one of the AIs. But I don't know, I have heard that maybe if I am not actually setting the settings in a way that I should do, maybe all the codes and everything can be shared with my other competitors, and then maybe they can actually build the same thing that I have built.
Okay, I'll put it this way. Maybe so you're vibe coding, right?
Uh, well, when I say
And
coding, I'm not a programmer in any way, but I understood that how Codex, for example, can help me.
yeah, that's what
So
I mean, vibe coding. Like you prompt it to build it for you.
exactly.
Yes, yes. That's vibe coding. Yes. So, okay, with that, anybody can vibe code. And it's not, in this case, it's not really your source code, it's the AI source code because it's building it for you. But it would secure your environment like that. Does that mean that if I want to build something similar to yours tomorrow and I give it to it, it will most likely build it for me, but it wouldn't be exactly your product. That's the way AI works because it's taking a lot of information from different places, from different sources, and it's building for you. And a lot of people are doing what you're doing right now. And that's the beauty of AI. I wouldn't be worried about it sharing your source code, or maybe your competitors can build exactly the same thing. It's only if they understand the thought behind what you're building that they will build. Well, yes, anyone can build any product today, but it wouldn't be exactly what you're building, but they can build something very similar, 100%.
Okay, so what usually like a small business or startups at this moment do, because developers are very expensive and actually time consuming. So you have to, if I was going to actually, I actually did one time hired a developer. It took them 2 years to like go to MVP that I even cannot put it in the market. And then when I am using AI, I'm seeing that it's almost ready to be on the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody's doing the same thing. I am doing the same thing you're doing. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Developers will take time. What you can use developers for is to review the code and make sure that you have your backup. Like you're using GitHub as your repo for
Yeah.
what AI is building for you, right?
Well,
Developers can help you. Go ahead.
I have not actually connected the GitHub to the coding, but I see
Okay.
that right now I am actually going to different seminars and talks like the ones that you are actually providing. And I'm asking these
Mhm.
questions, and when I listen, I understand that hey, there are lots of things that I have to do as settings so that make sure that the code and everything is not going to be shared with other people.
Exactly. And you will protect yourself like that as well. And if at some point AI shuts down, you can always have access to your code and put it back up using a different tool in the future. So you don't want to be
Okay.
100% reliant on AI. But
So still,
you
I
don't
need an advisor.
in terms of the security that should be in place, I would say yes.
Uh-huh.
And infrastructure, you might even choose to launch outside of the AI tool you're using. So you might need a tech, yeah, say a CTO, for example, to help you with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Help
Mm-hmm.
you on the right infrastructure to put it on. Yes.
Okay. Okay. What is the best expertise that I should look for, sir?
Um. Okay. Range of things. So on the tech side,
Uh-huh.
I would say you have to first talk to a developer, a senior developer who has
Uh-huh.
worked for a startup before.
Mm-hmm.
They can help you understand, okay, what are the cheap infrastructure you can put in place that that would take your dependence from AI away, and you can connect directly. So you build from AI, it flows into that, and you can launch from there if you choose to. Right? You can also launch
Mm-hmm.
from with AI for your MVP and scale. As you're scaling, But you want to have that infrastructure in the back end. And as you're scaling, you can again scale into a different infrastructure because most of these AI tools we're vibe coding with, they don't have strong infrastructure behind them. They can break, especially with a lot of users.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's where you protect yourself. But you can't exactly protect your product because as long as it's out there, the world can see it. Anyone can look at it and say, I want to do something similar. What you need to have is like a differentiator. And someone said something, they said the biggest companies would see going forward would be a product company masquerading as a service company. You're selling the product, the AI, the product you've built, but you're selling it as a service company because what you realize is people buy people more than they buy products. So if you sell as a service, that service that you're putting on top of it of the product can be your differentiator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Janice just put something in the chat for you. Can be your differentiator. So what you should be looking for instead of I'm going to protect my code and all of that is what is my differentiator that nobody can and or your moat that makes it harder for someone else to copy what you're doing.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I think there are other questions. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, so that's new idea. What was it? New idea machine. So yeah, you can check them out. I think they can help you with the tech questions. And from a security side, the same person that will help you with your infrastructure wouldn't be the same person that will help you with your security. Because I tell people tech and security, they're not exactly the same. Even though
Actually, that's a really important differentiator. I don't think a lot of people know that, right?
absolutely, yes, they're very different. Because your security doesn't have to be technical. So there's a lot more to security than technical, and then there's a risk assessment that comes before the technical work. The security guy can tell the technical team what to do. Because technical team wouldn't exactly figure out what to do or to what level. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Any other
Oh,
questions,
perfect. So they said
folks?
NIM can help with that as well. Okay, that's good to know. So please check in with New Idea Machine.
I
So
definitely do. Sure.
say that again.
I definitely do that. Sure.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Good. All right. Yeah, and thank you for those questions. I appreciate. Yeah, I always like to answer those questions.
I think if you don't mind if I jump in for a second,
Please go ahead.
I think the biggest thing with AI for a lot of businesses is knowing that you're using a general non-deterministic tool, and when you're applying it in different ways, making sure that you're making it deterministic.
Mhm.
And that falls back to, as you pointed out, building policies which your company follows, and
Yeah,
then building a structure which the AI is accountable to. Because you can tell an AI to be nice, to be good, not to lie to me. It doesn't have a clue, it doesn't know anything about that. But you can build a structure for AI to follow, and it is able to be accountable to that. So if the company is accountable to building the policy and the structure for the AI, then the AI is accountable to the structure because it has to produce the responses within that structure.
absolutely. 100%. I agree with you. And again, you need to, yes, they can function within that structure. We know that AI can also stray away from that structure, which is a place for monitoring as well. So just to add to that, the way you said, 100%, I agree with what you said. So make sure that you're monitoring to make sure that AI stays within the structure that you have provided to it.
Yeah, what your any response or any input like for a business into AI should be auditable.
Absolutely.
So that's what I
Absolutely.
mean by if you're building a deterministic tool, then the responses that you're putting in are predetermined. You know what the output is going to be. You're building that structure for it to stay on those tracks.
Absolutely. Spot on. Thank you. Mhm. Okay. Any other question or contribution before we have 3 minutes to the end? Lunch is almost over. So any other question?
I guess I'll say, how do people get in touch with you if they want to learn more or,
Absolutely. I will put so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Dr. Mukhtar Lasisi or Mukhtar Lasisi PhD, so you would find, or you can send a direct message to let me put that here at Marshall Tech. That's the company.ca. Or you can just go to marshalltech.ca and call the number on the website. A member of the team would pick up, or I will pick up. We were always happy to help and advise small businesses and medium-sized businesses.
fantastic. All right. Well, if you have other questions, then you can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to do an introduction between you and Dr. Lasisi, or you can reach out to him directly. And again, if a question comes up tomorrow or the next day as you're working, I'm sure we're both open to. Don't ask me questions about your AI security because I will not have the right answer. But if you need help with ecosystem navigation, that's where I can step in and probably give you a little bit of advice as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, if any question comes to you, you can refer them to me. I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Thank you, Dr. Lasisi, for your time and expertise. We really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best Wednesday afternoon possible.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thank you all for being here. Bye,
Yes.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.